here.
This is Sports Sound.
That is a beautiful finish!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Hello to listeners on FM on BBC Radio Scotland on Sports Sound this afternoon. It is Celtic against Hibernian here, though we will, as we go along, keep you up to date with events at Amon Vale as Livingston take on Rangers. We've got Brian McLaughlin at the stadium, so we will cross to him if there's anything to report on. Here at Celtic Park, though, is where we will be focusing on what's a relatively pleasant day in Glasgow. Slightly breezy, but the temperature's in double digits as Celtic look to perhaps have a less stressful football match than they've been encountering recently in their last three domestic ones. They've left it late to defeat Dundee eventually after extra time in the Cup. They beat Livingston late on here, and then last week, a week ago about now, Sebastian Tinekti beating Kilmarnock very late in the days. These two go head to head for the third time this season. Hibs off the back of that comfortable victory last weekend and looking to win here for the first time in almost 16 years. Schmeichel in goal for Celtic, Araujo, Trusty, Scales and Tierney at the back, Nygren, McGregor, Oxlade, Chamberlain across the middle, the latter making his first start for the club. He's had such a glittering career both at club and international level, with Yang and Tinekti either side of Tranchara. For Hibs, Boyle, the skipper, comes in for Scarlett, with Salinger in goal, O'Hara, Bushiri and Iredale at the back, Paslak, Chaiwa, Barlasser and Nicky Cadden, McGrath behind Boyle and Owen Elding. Celtic players in their huddle, green and white hoop shirts, white shorts, white socks. Hibs in one of their change colours, the canary yellow, with dark green shorts, yellow socks, as the sun begins to break out from the clouds above here in Glasgow's East End. It will be the visitors who are going to kick things off here, going from right to left towards the Jockstein stand, which is the west end of the stadium. Celtic shooting towards the Lisbon Lion end, and the first touch of the ball will be Jamie McGrath. The first whistle from Matthew McDermott, and it's rolled back by McGrath, who gets it immediately from O'Hara. Back in the centre circle, flings it forward, blocked by Tierney, and Celtic pick up possession for the first time. It's a woeful ball by Tinekti on the far side, and Hibs looking to get in right at the start, and a cross come shot is flashed in from the right hand side of the area from McGrath. It sails in front of the goal frame, and Kasper Schmeichel relieved to see that fly out for the goal kick, which they've taken quickly, and it's pinged out to Tierney over on the far side. But that little moment like that from Sebastian Tinekti can be such a tone setter, Michael Stewart.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't just the fact, you know, talking about Sebastian Tinekti, you could see Hibs, they were right up on top of Celtic there. They weren't sitting off, they're looking to get up and try and apply pressure high up the park, and it almost paid off big time.
It is Tinekti for Celtic, high up the pitch here, midway inside the Hibs half. Tinekti runs back to, rolls it onto the halfway line for Scales, who flicks it back to Schmeichel. A big afternoon for him. He was accused of being at fault for at least two of those Stuttgart goals here on Thursday night in the Europa League, which has left them with an almighty task if they are going to somehow resurrect that tie. And having a little look at it this morning, Stuttgart haven't lost a European home game by the kind of scoreline that would even take it to extra time. As Yang picks up on this near side, out to Araujo level with the 18-yard line, infield to Nygren, back to Araujo at the right angle of the box. Leaves it back for Nygren, who finds Callum McGregor, who's midway inside the Hibs half. Little short ball to Oxlade Chamberlain, who chips it out to the near side for Yang. It's good positive play. Yang to the edge of the D, works it back towards Nygren via Tranchara, and it bobbles out of play for a goal kick. That's really good play by Celtic. We played almost two goalless minutes. Pat Bonner.
Yeah, and Oxlade Chamberlain, two good, really good passes. One, he's bent it round the opposition player to open the play up on the right hand side, and the one just there that was involved in that situation, again another nice little pass to Yang, who was able to take it first touch and drive on the inside. So good play from Celtic.
It's a goal kick for Hibs there, and Salinger played it short to Bushiri, who, well, someone was on the wrong wavelength because it almost went horribly wrong. The Celtic player looking to pounce on it.
One was on FM, the other on AM, and
I think so.
Everyone else is on digital nowadays.
Yeah. And Scales out it goes with the right foot out towards Yang. It's picked up by Tierney. And now on that left side, Tenekti. And it's Tranchara waiting in the middle as it's pulled across to him on the 6-yard line. He goes down, Bushiri's challenge, and it's clear. It was Tierney's ball in. Makes to Oxlade-Chamberlain. He goes back to Scales, lumps it forward to Nygren, controls in the chest, and nicks it back out to Tenekti on the left. Midway inside the Hibs half, away from Chaiwa, finds Nygren, lovely flick back to Yang. Chance to pull it across, he does, and it's whipped over his own crossbar by Warren O'Hara. And it's Celtic, indeed the game's first corner. 3 minutes in over on the far side, the Celtic left.
It was a lovely link up between Nygren and Tenekti there. Flick over the top for that running behind from Tenekti. I'm just looking at Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. You just get a sense he will enjoy playing at Celtic. And the likes of Callum McGregor, I would imagine, will love playing with him as well. You know, two players that very, very good technical football players in the middle of the park. You could imagine that they would strike up a partnership pretty quickly.
It is Oxlade-Chamberlain over the corner, in swinger with the right boot coming up from that far side. Hibs looking to stand firm here. In comes the corner, comes right down into the gloves of Salinger, who gathers on his 6-yard line. And any goalkeeper, Packy, would be delighted with that from the first corner that you're facing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
McGrath's caught Araujo, his boot was high. Free kick Celtic on the near side as Matty McDermott now makes a move towards the Irishman.
Yeah, it looked worse than it actually was, I think. But it was a high boot, and you know he's swiping at the ball, and he's trying to head the ball, so they come in contact. But he's okay, he's up, and it's just a free kick. But no, you're right about the goalkeeper. What you want is an early touch, and you want an easy touch with that, and get a ball into your hands, and the confidence then flows.
Spring must be in the air because Mikey's discarded with his jacket to my left. Are we at that point yet?
Well, you know, some grounds are always a little bit warmer than out and about, and others are a little bit colder, and always here it ends up being a little bit warmer than, and it is a little bit warmer today in general.
Spring's in the air. There's Trusty playing it short to Araujo on the near side in the halfway line. Forward to Nygren, steps away from Nicky Cadden and Jack Iredale. Turns out to this near side, it's Nygren to Yang, and now Araujo level with the Celtic 18-yard line. Nygren just knocking with the right foot back to McGregor. Scales picks up in a central area and switches the play out to the left for Tenekti. He's level with the edge of the D of the Hibs box. Now he's going to try and attack the Hibs defence down that far side. Paslak as it comes back to Araujo, central position, chips it into the box. It's headed away by O'Hara, back into the area, and then the second header is only half clear, and Bushiri tries to head it clear this time. 3 of them had a go at that, and he eventually comes back to Salinger, who rifles it clear with the right foot high into the centre circle, where Scales meets it with his head. It's 0-0 after almost 6 minutes, as it is at Ammanvale.
Yeah, Hibs keeping Martin Boyle right up the pitch. So, and he's got that pace. He was almost playing in between Scales and Trusty, and if they get an opportunity, as a poor pass from
Schmeichel, and Elding looks for Boyle, but his touch lets him down, and Callum McGregor comes to pick up. Well, that ain't going to do Kasper Schmeichel any favours in the eyes of the Celtic supporters here.
No, it's a poor pass, easily cut out, and you know he does take risk, doesn't he? You know, and risk is part of the game now. But when you're low in confidence, it's the last thing you want to be doing.
It's like I was saying to you before the game. You know, he may well be 39 and highly experienced, but you can tell that psychologically he's fragile at the moment.
It's Oxlade-Chamberlain spinning away from Chaiwa, finds Scales on the left and finds Tierney in space. Tierney can drive forward into the Hibs half here. He's got connected to his left, that's where the ball goes. Chance perhaps to cross, good covering by Paslak on the far side as he slides it out for a Celtic throw-in.
Paslak's quick. You know, I think you've seen that already, even in the derby when he was up against Kizaridis. It looked to me as if Kizaridis didn't really fancy going and taking him on too often. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out with Tenekti against Paslak.
It's got good pedigree, Paslak. He was 11 years in the books at Borussia Dortmund. He's a former German under-21 international. He played with the likes of Florian Wirtz in the German youth setup. As Nygren rolls it out to this near side for Yang. He's level with the edge of the D of the Hibs box. Infield to Araujo, squares it to McGregor. To his left it's Oxlade-Chamberlain, who is brought crashing to the ground by Chaiwa. Free kick Celtic. They've taken it from about 7 or 8 yards away from where it was meant to be, but the ref's happy with it. Nygren at the right angle of the Hibs box, back to McGregor, and now Araujo on the near side, and out to Yang, who's level with the 18-yard line. Did make some kind of impact when he came on the other night against Stuttgart, albeit it was a difficult night again for Celtic in Europe as Araujo plays it back. He almost gave it straight to Boyle, and that's forced Trusty to just lump it forward from the halfway line, and it comes all the way through to Salinger. Yes. And it stays Celtic 0, Hibs 0.
So just overpassing it again, I think, at times. Sivanchara was looking for that ball into his feet. He's shown, and he was frustrated. There's a ball into his feet this time, and he's a little bit deeper, but around the edge of the box, that's where you want to hit him with it.
McGregor to Nygren at the edge of the box to Nekti. He doesn't quite get the requisite touch to take it past the defender, and Hibs come away with it. Noah Elding is driving across the halfway line. He's got Boyle ahead of him. Trusty marshalling. It's Elding still. It's Scales goes over to cover him. He's down towards the corner flag, and it's Scales who emerges in top, wins the ball back off one of Hibs' new signings, and it's Tierney to his left for McGregor.
Packy makes a good point, because I think he's absolutely spot on. Sometimes when you look at Celtic, I don't think they hit the front man enough or quick enough, and in around the edge of the box there, for the likes of Nygren, who's playing off his left foot and he's on the inside right channel, that ball round the corner into the front man is absolutely on and perfect to play. Just as you get the Hibs team moving one way, you can fire it round the corner, go and hit Chavanchara. That's what he's looking for. He's pinned the defender, instead they go backward and almost give it away.
And it's Hibs in possession here with McGrath. He's managed to free himself of the shackles of Oxlade-Chamberlain as he drives forward up towards the edge of the Celtic box, unchallenged here. Out to the right-hand side, it's a low ball across, chance of the back post. Nicky Cadden's efforts blocked by Araujo, and Celtic clear. That's real signs for optimism for Hibernian, some of their attacking play in these early exchanges.
Yeah, that's the only issue with Oxlade-Chamberlain playing as a kind of a deep midfielder. Has he got the legs to go with Jimmy McGrath there? On that occasion he didn't have, and the opportunity was developed down the right hand side.
Well, a defeat to Stuttgart the other night stopped a run of 10 unbeaten for Celtic under Martin O'Neill since his second return to the club this season. It's Oxlade-Chamberlain with a long ball out to Yang. It's over his head and out for a Hibs throw-in on this near side. That goal he scored, actually, Oxlade-Chamberlain against Livingston, wasn't the first one he scored at Celtic Park, having netted for England in a friendly against Scotland here way back in, it would have been 2013. It was the same week Sean Maloney's on the Celtic coaching staff scored the winner against the Irish here.
Remember that one?
2014 it was,
yeah.
Rather than 13.
Don't remember the other one.
No. Don't remember much else about it, actually.
You remember Sean's goal against the Irish, Packy?
I don't remember any goals against the Irish.
He's forgotten all about that one. As Bushiri turns it back to Salinger, the edge of his box. Yeah, it was Euro 2016 qualifying that.
That was the high watermark for us.
It was. Packy in the last lap.
Where did you pick that from, Liam? You must have been reading up during the week, were you?
That's what I do. What else have I got to do, Patrick?
The first half of that campaign we were brilliant, and then tailed off, and unfortunately the Irish kept on.
They did. It was the defeat in Georgia was the problem, the main problem. The Irish beat Germany, didn't they? Anyway, that's going back a while. As Elding picks up out to the touchline for Paslak, who shifts it back to O'Hara, and forward here to Chaiwa. Still awaiting the first goal here. It's the same story in Livingston. Hosts up against Rangers there, as the two Glasgow clubs look to react to another home victory for Hearts. Yesterday as they beat Falkirk 1-0. 5 points clear at the top, 6 of Celtic as Tierney comes down the left-hand side. Low ball across, it takes a deflection and that makes it easier to clear for Warren O'Hara. McGregor picks up the scraps left the centre and switches it to Araujo. He's in the right central position, and now it's with Oxlade-Chamberlain, who finds McGregor. Forward there to Tierney and back to Scales. He gets a run down the left from Tenekti, elects to play the safer pass to Tierney. Back to Scales, who sweeps it from left to right of the centre circle for Trusty. And now it's with Julian Araujo on this near side.
You would just like to see one of the players run beyond Vanchara also, a midfielder, whether it's Negrin or whether it's Yang or Tenecti, when that ball's deeper in midfield.
Tenecti's a good ball in and flicked away there importantly by Iredale. Last week's hero at Kilmarnock, Araujo, picks up and rolls it back to Negrin. Infield to McGregor, who decides to turn it back to Negrin to his right. Forward onto the 18-yard line for Yang, first time out to Araujo. Infield to Oxlade-Chamberlain, back to Araujo, gets away from Bushiri, but he was swarmed by yellow shirts, and Hibs clear, but here comes McGregor, pokes it out wide left for Sebastian Tenecti, faced by Paslak. He's at the byline, flicks him to the outside of the boot, awful horror, and behind for a Celtic corner. Celtic 0, Hibs 0 on 13.
Well, that's twice Paslak's obviously trying to block off Tenecti, cutting back onto his right boot, but he's just given him ever so slightly too much space, because as much as Tenecti wants to cut on his right, he's capable, very capable, of using his left as well, and I just think he's over committed slightly, and Tenecti's twice on his left boot there. The first one was a very dangerous ball, and the second one now's gone out for a corner kick.
Well, there has been a goal at Ammanvale. We're going to get to that in a moment after this Celtic corner, which will be taken by Oxlade-Chamberlain in swinger again. In fact, he's playing it short to Tenecti. Rolls it back to the edge of the box. It's with Araujo, takes a touch with the right foot, chips it into the area. Oh, it's come off a hand there. Came off the hand of Jack Iredale. Did it come off a body part before that? We'll have a look at it clearly. It's goalless here after 14 minutes, but the deadlock has been broken in West Lothian, Brian McLaughlin.
Livingston 1, Rangers 0. Cabangolo with the goal. It was a free kick played in deep to the back post. Cabangolo with a wonderful volley that beat Jack Butler no ends up. Rangers have been in top, but they now trail by 1-0.
Wow. Well, I did wonder that. I wasn't sure exactly what had happened, but I did hear some Celtic supporters get quite excited just before that Oxlade-Chamberlain corner was taken, and they obviously got wind of that. Livingston 1, Rangers 0 at Ammanvale. The bottom side, one win all season, and a game Rangers can't afford to drop points in, as Celtic can't afford to drop points in this one. They find themselves behind. Well, that, I suppose, Celtic players, whether they're aware of that or not, it's got to give them extra drive and determination to try and get above their rivals ahead of their league meeting at Ibrox next Sunday. But that's another boost for Derek McInnes and Hearts, Michael, even if it is still quite early on in the piece.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's very early. Don't know how the game's going to finish, but certainly it's not a negative from Hearts' perspective.
Bushiri under pressure in his own box, nicks it out to Barlaser, out to Iredale, who knocks it up towards the halfway line. Liam Scales does well against his international colleague McGrath and finds Trusty, who's out to this near side for Araujo, and it's a left foot ball all the way back to Schmeichel. Celtic 0, Hibs 0, Livingston 1, Rangers 0.
When you look at Owen Elding, he looks like a good size, he looks like he's a good runner as well.
That's and I think the Irish manager is here today, actually, Heimer Hallgrimsson, and he will be looking at this young player, but he's got that physical sense, and he'll like that because that's part of the game. You've got to be strong, got to be physical, of course you've got to have ability.
He's not a million miles or two dissimilar to Kieran Bowie in terms of the way that he, his physical stature and the way that he carries himself, he's running, he looks powerful. And the little bits that I've seen, good finish the other week as well. I think he's got a little bit of something. It's so far, he would say, a sensible addition to the Hibs team.
Born in England but brought up in County Sligo. As Celtic come forward, it's Vanchara at the edge of the D, and he turns it out low to Yang on this near side. Right foot ball back to Araujo, and then to Yang along the 18-yard line, just about to Nygren. Vanchara goes down to Nygren, who shoots just wide. It's taking a deflection. It is a corner to Celtic as they try and make a breakthrough here against Hibs.
That's what we're saying. Play that ball into Vanchara, edge of the box. Defenders can't really put tackles in. He's able to. That time he was obviously going to ground. Bashiri was up against him, but he laid it back into the path of Nygren, and Nygren then takes the shot on. It wasn't far wide. I'm not sure if it was going to be on target, but it did take a deflection. Might have taken it wide. The goalkeeper had to dive right across his goal, really stretched to cover that sort of inside left post.
It's that Cabangolo goal for Livingston has them in front. Celtic, can they hit the front themselves here? With Rangers losing. In swinging corner coming up from Kieran Tierney on this near side in front of the Hibs fans, and it comes flicked across the 6-yard line. Away by Bushiri. It was a Celtic head. They got onto it initially. The Hibs have got it clear, and McGrath picks it up just in the midway point of his own half. Finds Barlaser. He's having a fine season, as Michael was saying earlier. Little turn out to the right, a poor ball from Chaiwa all the way through to Schmeichel though.
Yeah, I mean, he's never flustered, Barlaser in the middle of the park. Everything else around him felt like a little bit frantic. Feels like he's going to be put under real pressure, but it's good composure, good control and touch, and finds the spare man out in the space and the wide there.
Yeah, I think they were disappointed they didn't get Taris Triantis back to the club last summer, but Barlaser has stepped up for sure.
Different type of player. But,
yeah. You know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, he's filled in that position, but he's a different type. But I think what he doesn't have in energy, he has got far more technical ability, and the energy's made up with the likes of Chaiwa and Mulligan, so the balance is very good in the middle of the park.
Here comes Celtic. Schwanchara, he's midway inside the Hibs half though. Leaves it for McGregor, out to Tierney. Down the line it's played to Tnekti, faced by Chaiwa, steps away from him. It's been forced away from goal though, passes it back to Scales and out to his left for McGregor, and out to Tierney. Low ball to Tnekti. Back to Tierney.
Yeah, he just laid that ball back too pacey to Kieran Tierney, Tnekti that time, and that was just lay into his path and let him deliver, and they just keep possession and they circulate the ball again, and a little bit frustrating.
Here comes Scales to the midway point of the Hibs half again, to Tnekti on the byline on the left side, up against Paslak. Now he's level with the 6-yard line, rolls it back with the right foot to McGregor. Bit of space. You can see what Celtic are trying to do. It's not working out right now, and Salinger still not really too much to do with regards to saves. It's Tnekti, goes back to McGregor, and then it's left to Oxlade-Chamberlain, dinks it into the box, looking for Chwanchara, and it evades him and comes right through to Salinger. We're almost in 20 minutes. Celtic 0, Hibs 0.
The last two occasions there, Paslak, spot on. You know, he's close enough to Tnekti, but he's clearly shown him the line. He's confident that he's got the pace to cover that. If the two of them start to get in a foot race to go down the line, he's shutting off the inside to make sure that Tnekti can't come in on his right foot, and he's just slowed the wide man up, and it just brings the attack to a bit of a halt.
I think that's good defending though,
yes,
Michael.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it is good defending.
Really good defending. You know, you don't jump in and
he got his
commit
distance
yourself.
is good there.
Yeah.
They've got to try and find a way through Hibernian this afternoon. Celtic, I mean, if Livingston go on, there's still a long way to go, but if Livingston go on to shot Rangers and win that game, Celtic don't win this one, those two play each other next week. Hearts could start to chisel open some more daylight.
Motherwell will get tighter.
Yeah, it's a great ball by Tierney down the left. It's an opportunity for Tnekti now as he attacks Paslak. Low ball, Tierney can't get his shot away, he's managed to get it back across. Chwanchara on the spin, down he goes. Hibs mop up, it comes back to Salinger, who boots it clear. The Celtic fans howling for a penalty. It's not forthcoming right now. 21 play, 0-0.
The two of them are grappling with each other. It's a real battle between Chwanchara and Bashiri.
Nicky Cadden collects the scraps on this near side, passes it back into his own box for Iredale, who clips it high up this near side touchline. Now Rauho gets the touch and then he fouls McGrath. Celtic fans complain, it looked like a foul.
Yeah,
so I think they're probably just still angry about what happened a minute ago.
That's it, exactly, and you know, that's that situation. Obviously Chwanchara's getting his body between the player and the ball, and he's a big lad, so Bashiri's just holding his ground, but just it'll be the interpretation of the referee at times.
Celtic 0, Hibernian 0, Livingston 1, Rangers 0. As Hibs pick up a throw-in up the pitch here, they're midway inside Celtic territory over on the north stand side, and they have a throw-in which Felix Paslak comes up to take, bowls it in field to Chaiwa. He's got good options actually in the squad, Dave Gray, doesn't he?
That's a good squad. I mean, it really is. And I said it before the game, and just to reiterate it, think of the mess Hibs were in just a couple of years ago. The squad was a shambles. They were spending a fortune on players that had zero influence or impact.
On long contracts as well.
Now you look at it and you go, you can see the strategy and the thinking behind. And even as I've just said, Elding's only in the door and he's showing little snippets, but you can understand what they're looking for and what the attributes that he's got, and you think to yourself, yep, so far that looks like a good addition.
Yeah, Michael, without labouring the point, I think the combination with David Gray, Malky Mackay, those guys, is and we talk about structure within a club.
Yep.
That's the difference.
Absolutely. And I was very critical before of the owner. Now you think to yourself, well, credit to them, they've put their money where their mouth is previously, but now they've got people in the positions where they're capable.
Here's Chaiwa winning it back. There's a mistake at the back by Celtic. It's rolled to Boyle. He's got options. He's got Elding to his right. He shoots himself. Blocked by Trusty. Comes to Elding. And it's played straight to Schmeichel at his far post there. He holds on. It stays Celtic nil. Hibs nil on 23.5. Celtic got away with one there.
Boyle should have slipped Elding in. He should have slipped Elding in.
Good spin by Yang on the near side. Iredale slides in and Chaiwa picks it up again. Fouled by McGregor, but there's an advantage for Hibs. Down the left comes Boyle. Elding's waiting in the middle. McGrath's there too now. Boyle leaves it out to Nicky Cadden. Gets his cross. It's a good one. The header's in. Hibs lead. Hibs in front, and Felix Paslak's diving header at the back post has put Hibernian in front in Glasgow's East End, where they haven't won since 2010. Outstanding build-up play, outstanding cross from Cadden, and Paslak heads the ball home, and it's Celtic nil, Hibernian 1, and the Hibs players have just done their neighbours a big favour here potentially, as well as themselves.
Well, it was clever. I think it was clever from Boyle, wasn't it? Initially, when the ball's played down, he had a good opportunity maybe to go himself, but he realised it was all blocked off. He came back to Nicky Cadden. What a good ball, Michael. What a good ball.
His deliveries are second to none. They really are. But, that is just one attack after another. And it showed you the aggression and the athleticism in the middle of the park for Hibs, because it came from the initial attack where Boyle could have slipped Elding in. And then Celtic win the ball back. It goes into the middle of the park, and I think it was Iredale initially, then Chaiwa. They win the ball and they spring quickly. And as Packy said, that initial ball, I think Iredale slips it through a little bit too heavy for Boyle. Shows the composure, puts it back to Cadden, and then Cadden in those positions, as I've just said, second to none. That ball is in behind the Celtic defence, inch perfect. One win back to the other, and Paslak with a diving header. Keeper can do nothing there. That's a really, really impressive goal from Hibs.
And on a day where Celtic and Rangers have to win, both are losing. Hibs with the lead here. Livingston leading Rangers at Ammanvale. Another plot twister in a season full of twists and turns. Yang giving it away, and now it's Chaiwa. It's an early ball for Elding. Gets the touch away from Scales. Lovely shimmy away there from Yang as well as he lays it back to Iredale, left of the centre circle. And they will have confidence flowing through them right now, will Hibernian. As Nicky Cadden picks up level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box, stopped by Yang, but Barlasser's there to pick up down the left side. He goes level with the penalty spot. Celtic in a hole again. They've been behind so often recently, as Chaiwa squares it to O'Hara and out to the goal scorer Paslak on the far side. His first Hibs goal coming at Celtic Park as he comes back into their own half for Bushiri. 26 played, Hibs with a 1-0 lead. Michael Stewart.
That's good feet just before from Elding, and Boyle's in.
Boyle's in, takes a touch in the chest away from Scales. Round Schmeichel's flapping around, still it's Boyle, and Schmeichel saves with his chest. Martin Boyle's got to score there, has to make it 2-0. It stays at 1. What a wake-up call this is for Celtic as Bushiri fouls Tranchara on the halfway line, and the ref blows for the free kick, having initially looked to see if there was an advantage. It's come alive here at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, Hibs 1.
It's a great ball over the top, isn't it, Packy?
Beautiful.
Inch perfect.
And Scales was struggling a little bit because he had just gone off his shoulder. Beautiful flighted ball, and actually I thought the goalkeeper did well this time. He came out, kept himself nice and big and strong, and shut down the space for Boyle, but that was a huge chance.
On the left it's Tierney with a cross in, headed away by Bushiri, and on the far side it's Paslak heading it away up the line. McGrath trying to win it back, but it's dealt with by Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's in possession just now, midway inside the Hibs half. In field, Tierney sliding into Chaiwa though, and he gets it back to Salinger. They need guys like Chaiwa and Barlasser to really step up today, and so far they have been.
Yeah, I mean, they're capable. I mean, they're really capable. I think back to, you know, Chaiwa's first sort of appearance against Legia Warsaw. He was outstanding. And to a great
extent, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. To a great extent, Mulligan's, you know, filled that role in. But he's got a big part to play today. Absolutely, he's got a big part to play in Hibs in general. But they are a very capable side, Hibs, and that moment there, that could well prove decisive, because if Hibs go 2-0 up, the way they play and they can hit on the counter, that would have put them in an incredibly strong position.
Yeah, and the mindset of the natives here as well.
Yes.
Because it won't be long. If Celtic don't score in the next couple of minutes, you'll hear all about it. As Oxlade-Chamberlain, lovely spin away from McGrath, right-footed ball, finds Tierney, left central position, encouraged to shoot, decides to lay it to Tenecte, pulls it back to Nygren. Iredale gets there first, he's fouled, Hibs have a free kick inside their own box, and it all breaks down again for the champions. It stays Celtic 0, Hibs 1 on 28.5.
Tierney's got it in him that he can shoot from that position. I know it's a simple pass to play Tenecte in, and I thought he should have probably pulled the trigger then. But I think Kieran, from the position he was coming into, the space was there, go and take a shot on, at least gets the crowd up and at it. But if you just give the ball to somebody else and don't take on the responsibility, then, you know, it all fizzles out again, and the crowd get frustrated.
As it stands, Hearts are 5 points clear of Rangers, and they are 6 clear of Celtic, who do have a game in hand, which is to come on Wednesday week at Pittodrie against Aberdeen. There's Oxlade-Chamberlain, long looking for Chvanchara. Pass lacks there, it's a good touch. He gets it back to his keeper.
What a great touch that was.
And there's Barlasser in the midfield, forward to Chaiwa, who then rolls it to his left for McGrath. And now it's out to Cadden. Restless Celtic supporters around about us, and indeed all over this huge stadium. And as it comes back, Iredale to Bushiri, switched with the right foot to O'Hara, and out to the far side for Paslak, infield to Barlasser. First time ball, Boyle's going to chase, but it's asking too much, and it goes all the way through to Schmeichel. It's Celtic 0, Hibs 1, almost bang on the half hour.
Sorry, Lee, I was just going to say, it's not a bad ball from Barlasser. The problem was there was just nobody that was in the position ready to go and exploit. And they probably should have been, because you could see the way it was building up. Out to Paslak, coming into the midfield. They needed somebody just on that inside right channel to go and run into the space.
Tierney on the far side. Low ball in, field square to Scales, left to the centre circle, pops it into the Hibs half for Chvanchara, out to Tierney on the left side, Tenecte down the line. Not been a massive threat in truth, Celtic, in the box. That Chvanchara turn early, he's on it now, finds Nygren out, Yang lays it back, and it's rifled high over the bar by Oxlade-Chamberlain, and it stays Celtic 0, Hibs 1.
I thought it was a good tackle actually, but he obviously was sliding. He slipped a little bit when he hit it, but I thought Jimmy McGrath was in a good position to put him under pressure. But that was good play. That was better play from Celtic, penetrating inside the box, and just maybe again people not taking the responsibility, Michael, to go and be clinical, giving the responsibility to somebody else.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's a ball out to Bushiri, not a great touch, but he gets it clear. It's a long ball up the left-hand side, now to play for a Celtic throw-in, which Araujo is going to take. He was hoping to try and reel in Motherwell. And the fact is, if they win this game, they'd only be 5 points behind Motherwell, who are getting so many deserved headlines. As Tierney picks up, it's a long ball looking for Yang in the box. Yang gets there, down into the ground and over the crossbar, and it will be a goal kick, and it will stay Celtic 0, Hibs 1. I think Packy obviously thought that he was going to score there.
Yeah, I thought he was in. All he do is to make contact. He just got in between. I'm not sure who it was. Was it Iredale and the goalkeeper? The goalkeeper's obviously done something with his hand. I think his fingers out of joint.
Yep.
And it looks like they're able to put it back in, or else he'll have to come off.
Getting ready. Jordan Smith's been readied. So whether that's just in preparation for a potential change, or whether it's actually going to have to happen, we shall see.
They just seem so nonchalant about it, and it's giving me the heebie-jeebies when you see he's pulled his gloves straight off. The players are signalling. Yeah, obviously he's I don't know, he's obviously jarred it up against the challenge with Yang, and something's popped out. But
it happens, Michael. Just give it a good tug, get it back in, strap it up, away you go. That's the way it was. We didn't have goalkeepers to come off the bench in those days.
It was a difficult one, because I can understand initially as Tierney's playing the ball, you're thinking to yourself, yeah, you know, he'll come in and collect, but more and more as the ball was coming, you're thinking he's in no man's land here, because it was just bending away from him all the time.
Well, Celtic's defeat to Stuttgart on Thursday was their 11th of the season, and you can also add on the penalty shootout defeat to Kairat in the Champions League qualifying, so 12 losses really in one season. And I'll say one season, we're just kind of heading into we're in the final third of it, aren't we?
Yeah.
To have lost 12 matches is quite remarkable for Celtic.
I want to go back to the goal, and if you look at Celtic's defending, you know, they're asking, I don't know what at the back post, how they're defending the back post, but it's Tenekti that's actually picking up Plaslik, and I'm not sure if Kieran Tierney was dragged in too close again, or whether he was picking somebody else up, or is he picking up Elding. I'm not sure. I would like to see it again, but that was the match up at the back post, and I'm sorry, Tenekti is not that type of player that can match up anybody at the back post.
No, but it's a good point in terms of...
Happened during the week also, Michael.
It would be interesting to see it, because the way Hibs have set up with Elding and Boyle, Elding's definitely playing on that inside right channel, and he's in between Scales and Tierney, so I would guess if that ball, as the ball's coming in, that perhaps he has dragged Kieran Tierney in, and then you're right, Paslak's right up against Tenekti, and he's got the better of him, which, credit to Hibs, the way they've set up, it's definitely caused Celtic a problem.
Right, it's game on again here. Salinger's all right to continue. There was a good few minutes of a stoppage there, so he bolted on at the end of this first half, which is 10 minutes of the 45 still to play. There's a poor touch by Scales, takes it out by Hibs, throwing on the far side. And then it's Chaiwa taking it quickly to Elding, gets it back to Chaiwa, then back to Elding, back onto the halfway line for Paslak. He finds O'Hara, it was back to Salinger, who dinks it out to this near side. This has been an excellent performance by Hibs.
Yeah, the other issue that Celtic have, you know, Venchara up front, he's quick when he gets into his stride, but he's not Kyogo or he's not Maeda, and he doesn't put the same pressure on, so people can play around him. If you've got the confidence to play between the goalkeeper, two centre halves, and you can play around.
Trusty back to Schmeichel. With his own penalty spot, plays it with the right foot, low left to the centre-back Scales, who nods up towards the halfway line, turns it out to Tierney in the Hibs half on the far side. Field to Fanchara and back to Scales.
Yeah. See Venchari's coming really, really deep there. Somebody else has got to go.
Here's a chance for Tierney to cross in the far side, blocked by Paslak. Bouncing ball, headed away by O'Hara. McGregor keeps it alive and finds Oxlade-Chamberlain. Squares it to Araujo, and now Nygren. Quiet game so far, Benjamin Nygren. We've seen him have quiet games before this season, and he's come up with goals though, and he's on it here as he rolls it with the left foot out to Yang on this near side. Yang attacking Cadden into the box, checks back, finds Araujo in the overlap, low ball across, chance flick for goal, and Bushiri digs it out. It's not falling for Celtic right now. Hibs clear, it stays Celtic 0, Hibs 1. As Trusty finds Araujo wide on the right, first time cross comes up, gets his foot wrapped round it, but it's way too deep, and it goes out of play for a Hibs throw in over on the far side, and stays 1-0 to the visitors.
Yeah, the point I was going to make there is Venchara goes really, really deep. Somebody else has to occupy his space. They've got to make a run. Chamberlain was asked to make that run, I think, but Chamberlain, I don't think that's his game. I don't think he wants to be on the ball, getting the ball. I'll be looking for Nygren to make that run into that inside right channel, almost from a right side, down into the left-hand channel.
Remember, it remains Livingston 1, Rangers 0, with Hibs leading here. It is a dream afternoon so far, dream weekend so far for the Hearts supporters. And things stay the way they are, they'll have made up for that defeat at Ibrox a week ago. Back to where they were before that one, and a couple of games chalked off.
Lovely feet.
Yeah, McGrath as well sweeps it up the right side, but Elding is fouled by Scales. Frustration etched all over the face of Martin O'Neill down below us, and indeed the Celtic supporters.
A great ball
losing
from
1-0.
Barlasser.
Yeah, he switched
Liam.
it right to left to Cadden and back to Iredale. That's what I'm saying, Mikey. This has been an excellent Hibs performance.
Yeah, it has. It has. It's been very controlled. And David Gray will be delighted with how his side are performing so far, because I think there's certain aspects of this game that you could see there's potential for a little bit more out of Hibs here as well.
Barlasser first time looking for Paslak. Scales will have to be careful here, gets between the man and the ball. Going back to his keeper wasn't an option. Boyle was there, so he slips it out to the left for Tierney, and now with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Here come Celtic, down the left for Tinekti. Oxlade-Chamberlain out there in support. Tinekti now rolls it to Chvanchara, back to Tinekti, the edge of the box, finds Nigren in the D, and then there's nobody out on the right. Araujo trying to get there now. He is going to get onto it, but not where Nigren thought he was. Araujo has it, rolls it back to McGregor, who squares it in field to Nigren, and it's shifted back out to the left for Tierney. A lot of going from side to side by Celtic, trying to find a way through. Tinekti, back to Tierney, left foot cross comes in, headed wide, goal kick, was Tranchara. And the thing is, if he misses it, Nigren's probably got a better header opportunity there from about 7 or 8 yards out. It's a goal kick, and it stays Celtic 0, Hibs 1 on 39.
It was the one, obviously Hibs had committed men forward. It's the first sort of opportunity where down the left-hand side for Celtic, Paslak wasn't there. It looked like they were going to create a bit of an overload and a problem. Came out over the other side and starting to just stretch Hibs because they'd been attacking with numbers. Eventually the ball goes in for Chvanchara, and I know what you're saying in terms of if he leaves it, he's never going to. He's a centre forward there, and it wasn't the worst attempt from him there.
Hibs have it here with Iredale looking for Cadden, and on the stretch can't control, and it's out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side, which Araujo takes. Hibs have been consistently inconsistent over the last 15 games. They've won 6, lost 6, drawn the other 3. As Tierney comes down the left, beyond the midway point, the Hibs have now. He's got the jet heels on. He's managed to get the cross in. Nigren with a header over the bar. And it stays Celtic 0, Hibs 1. We're into the final 5 minutes of the opening 45 at Celtic Park.
Yeah, better run from Tierney, and one thing on his mind, just get to that byline and get a cross in, and then people can make the run. This time it wasn't the best cross, but Nigren got on the end of it, just couldn't direct the header. I don't think he was set up to get a good header on target, but at least the ball comes in early. That's 2 in a row.
Cleared by Salinger from the goal kick with the right foot. Scales wins the header into the midfield, into the centre circle for Chvanchara. Now Nigren. Oxlade-Chamberlain's ball is dumped off Chaiwa, who's managed to steal a march on him as he drives out to the right side. Chaiwa rolls it back to Barlasser and out to Paslak, whose goal separates the teams right now. Big half-time team talk coming up from Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney, you feel, unless they can find an equaliser, and even if they do, just wonder what could they have done better in this first half so far, Michael, Celtic?
What did you say there, Liam?
What could they have done? Well, we'll wait in a sec, because here's Nigren looking to pop it through to Tranchara. It's blocked. Breaks to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who'll knock it out to Araujo, and down the line for Yang.
I was just concentrating. I thought Iredale was going to get caught in possession. He showed lovely footwork to skip round the pressure.
There's Nigren picking up and is back to goal. Midway inside the Hibs half to Oxlade-Chamberlain and out to Araujo. Now it's with Nigren to McGregor. Nigren picks up, looking for an option in green and white ahead of him. Bends it out to the left side for Tinekti. He's going to tap Martin Boyle here. Tierney is behind him. He rolls it back to the edge of the box for Nigren. Now it's with Araujo. It's the edge of the D, looking to get it back from Yang. It's Araujo, steps away from Cadden, who could have stuck a boot in there and brought him down in the box. Araujo for Yang, little spin, pulls it back across. Puccini misses it, and Chvanchara can't get his feet sorted, and Hibs clear, and it stays Celtic 0, Hibs 1 on 42 minutes.
Well, they worked that well, didn't they, Packy?
Well, what a chance, Michael.
Huge.
you know, it comes to your main striker 6 yards out in the box. He opens up and then he miskicks completely.
Just gets caught under his feet, you know, because I think he was anticipating that Bashiri was maybe going to get a touch on it. He didn't, and then it comes to him. It's caught under his feet, hence why he just completely mishits it.
McGregor finds Tierney. There's an urgency about Celtic's play right now as they look for an equaliser before half-time, which could be crucial. Remember, both Celtic and Rangers losing this afternoon. Livingston 1, Rangers 0. Celtic 0, Hibs 1. Here comes Celtic. Yang gets away from his man. And my goodness, what was that? I mean, he's just beach balled that with the left foot and smashed it high and behind for a goal kick when he had 3 or 4 waiting in the middle. It stays Celtic 0, Hibs 1. That was almost inexplicable.
I don't know why he was hitting it so hard.
I know, just bend it with your left foot. He goes with power and it goes way off his boot, almost about 20 yards over the crossbar. But just you know, if it's not your strong foot, just go and get your foot, wrap your foot around it slightly and at least try and hit the target. I
can only imagine, in part of his head was thinking, I'm going to shoot here, and another part was thinking, I'm going to cross. And in the end, neither happened. So Araujo picks up on this near side, forward to Yang, back to McGregor midway inside his own half. He switches it left to the centre circle for Tierney. Tierney bombs forward. Now he's at the midway point of the Hibs half. Uses the right foot to play it low out to the left for Tenekti. Up against Paslak. Looking to get to the byline. It's the cross in towards the back post. Nobody's getting there. But Araujo, who throws himself at it, and he can only put it behind for the goal kick.
Paslak, obviously, I mean, he clearly backs himself for the pace, and he is quick. But that's too easy, you know. And at one point or another, you're going to imagine that Tenekti's going to put one right on the head of one of his teammates, and it'll be a pretty easy one in at the back of the net. He overhit that one there, but I just think that Paslak just given too much. He's overcommitting at times.
The question I asked you a few minutes ago, Michael, was what could Celtic have done better in this first half?
I think that, well, I'm going to answer it.
You can answer it, all right.
Michael didn't answer the last time.
That's a good point. He's forfeited his opportunity then. Go.
I think needs to be more penetration from the midfielders. I think everything's going wide, everything looks, and it's easy to almost, you can set yourself up to play against that. But when runners start going from midfield, you've got to track them, and you've got to upset those 3 central midfield players. Somebody's got to take that job on. That was my opinion. Sorry, Michael, you might have a different opinion.
Well, it's the final 10 seconds of the opening 45, and Celtic are pressing forward again here. McGregor bends the ball, 3 minutes being added on with it. The first of them, it's Tierney, gets the cross in. Nygren! Goal! Celtic's top scorer lifts them off the canvas against Hibs. Brilliant play down the left. The cross was on point for Benjamin Nygren. Point blank header, pass challenger. The champions level. Celtic 1, Hibernian 1.
Well, there you go. You know, I mean, I think you mentioned it before, Liam, in regards to the amount of times you've seen Nygren being pretty quiet, but then he pops up with a hugely important goal. And it also just hammers home the point that Paki was making in terms of runs. I know it's slightly different because it's right in the middle of the goal and it's getting on the end of it, but it's a midfielder making the run beyond, and it changes the whole dynamic of things there. There's not been enough of that. I think Paki's right. And when you have runners from midfield like that, it narrows off the defence and it creates that little bit extra space out in the wide areas.
This has been a problem for Hibs all season, conceding goals late in the first or second half of matches. It's classic Celtic o'clock though, isn't it, Packy? It's what they do.
Well, listen, they badly needed it. They were under pressure. I would hate to think what the reaction of the crowd would be at half-time if it was 1-0 to Hibs. So they've got the goal now. They need to build on it. They've got to think about it at half-time, how they can upset, because Hibs have played well in this first half. There's no question about it. They've moved the ball well. They've got their goal. They've got other chances.
Barlasser's switch comes off the referee, so uncontested drop ball now in Hibs' favour, just to the left of centre.
It's a sore one for Hibs. I mean, it goes with it saying conceding just before half time, but yeah, they'll feel like there is something for them here this afternoon, although it is a recurring theme where good play but not being able to see things through.
Not keeping enough clean sheets this season. There was one last week, but it doesn't happen that often.
It's happened all too often for Hibs, where good play going unrewarded, really.
On the final minute of the 3 that were added, Celtic come again. Tenecte's chip forwards, headed away by the Hibs defence, breaks to McGregor. Now Araujo. Suddenly Celtic are looking to go in front at the break. Yang's ball, there's the touch by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Araujo goes round the first defender. Iredale with the challenge, and Celtic up a corner.
Yeah, it was a strong challenge, wasn't it? But it was an important challenge because Araujo kept his run going, and he got in down the byline between the 6-yard box and the 18, and all he was going to do is pick somebody out. But Iredale came across, strong body. He's taken a bit of a knock for it. He's down, and he's going to probably get a little bit of treatment.
I think he's just winded, Packet. You know, the two of them clattered into each other there.
He's okay. It was an important intervention because Celtic could have been looking at going 2-1 up there. They might still from this corner. We've played the 3 minutes that were added. A bit top of that, of course, because of the goal. And it will be Kieran Tierney to take on the Celtic right as they tap the goal to the right for the last time in this half. And it comes to the near post as Puart's headed away. Breaks back to Tierney on this right-hand side. Left foot cross, bends it in. Can't find a teammate. Swings behind for the goal kick. Celtic 1, Hibs 1, but the atmosphere in here has changed.
Yeah, it has changed. You know, that's football. There's half-time.
Yeah, Packy will get a chance to surmise what he's watched. Across the half-time intervals, Matthew McDermott blows for the break here. Hibs led through Felix Paslak's first goal for the club. A bullet header at the back post as he dived towards it from Nicky Cadden's cross. But that equaliser felt big. Right on the stroke of half-time from Benjamin Nygren, who headed home the Tierney cross on the left from close range. And what had been a real sea of frustration for the home supporters. They end the first half and another late goal in the half of football, which might change the very course of where the points will end up going on the course of business this afternoon. In a game that Celtic must win, in a game Hibs want to win, is still very much in the balance at half-time, but it is Celtic 1, Hibernian 1.
Scottish football lives here.
This is Sports Sound.
That is a beautiful finish!
From BBC Radio Scotland. What makes Radio Scotland breakfast different?
For starters, our programme is made here in Scotland.
Every day you can have your say. Send us a message, a voice note on the topics which matter to you.
And if you want to have your say on the lighter things in life, well, that's okay too.
But what really makes every day different is the news. It's fast-paced, constantly changing, and we'll bring it to you in depth every morning.
Join Martin Geisler and Laura McKeever for Radio Scotland Breakfast. Listen tomorrow morning from 6 on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon, and as things stand, the live table shows Heart of Midlothian 5 points clear of both Rangers and Celtic, with Motherwell a further 5 points adrift. So 1-1 at half-time at Celtic Park at Amon Vale. It's 1-0 for Livingston against Rangers. Let's get a sum-up of the opening 45 minutes from Kevin Thompson and our commentator Al Lamont.
Yeah, shock scoreline at Amon Vale for sure. Rangers started the game well enough. 6 minutes in, they might have been in front, but for a brilliant save by Jérôme Frior, the first of 2 or 3 actually from the Livy keeper. On that occasion he tipped a Romans header onto the post to deny him. But Livingston were very much a threat as well. Muirhead had an effort fairly comfortably saved, you'd have to say, by Jack Butland after 11 minutes, but 3 minutes later Butland was picking the ball out of the back of the net. A Muirhead free kick on the left hand side, floated into a sort of back post area inside the penalty area, and a wonderful volleyed finish from Brooklyn Cabangolo to rifle it past Butland, who didn't see it flying past him, I don't think, as it found the bottom corner. And that was Cabangolo's first goal for Livy, and it could yet prove to be oh so vital. Beyond that, Rangers, I suppose, they had plenty of pressure. A couple of shots at goal. Tavernier had a free kick, reasonably well saved by Prior, but there was a fabulous save again from the Frenchman as he denied Mikey Moore. Just tried to tease the ball towards the top corner, and the Frenchman at full stretch tipped it away off target. 5 minutes before the interval, looked like Rangers would at last grab the leveller. It was an almighty scramble inside the 6-yard box. Chermiti had the final effort, but it was somehow blocked on the line, I think by Scott Pittman, as Livy preserved their advantage. And Kevin Thompson, you'd have to say, albeit Rangers have had loads of the pressure, but Livingston are pretty good value for that lead they have.
Yeah, I don't think it's through default, Al, at all. I think they've deservedly gone at half-time in front. They've defended the box really well, bodies on the line. I think the midfield three, the energy, Pittman, Danso and Tate have been superb. And we mentioned at the top of the show, Lewis Smith, when he swivels on that counteract transition and he swings on his left peg, and Robbie Muirhead's attacking John Souttar down on his outside, they look a real threat, Livingston. And I have to say, albeit the goalkeeper's made probably 2 worldies, I think would be fair to say. It would be great to watch them back later tonight, but Marvin will be absolutely delighted. And Rangers' perspective, Al, they've huffed and puffed. The front boys have not been good enough. They've not moved the ball quick enough. I understand conditions. To me, it doesn't feel that windy. But too many floated balls, not enough sustained pressure, not enough guile, craft in that final third. And at the moment, Marvin will be absolutely delighted for a Livingston perspective.
Yeah, he said they had a game plan. So far, they've executed it pretty much to perfection. You would imagine Rangers need to come up with one of their own in what is going to be a massive second half. Half-time, though, at Armand Vale. Livingston 1, Rangers 0.
Kevin, as you highlighted there, a couple of brilliant saves from Jerome Prior, a few other really important ones, but at the other end of the pitch. What about the finish from Brooklyn Cabangolo? It was outstanding, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was sensational. I mentioned obviously pre-show, Richard, that I felt that they would need to be really good in both boxes when that opportunity come. They would need to be really clinical, and I'm not so sure you get any more clinical. But they have been a threat. I think Lewis Smith chopping inside when Livingston counted on later on in the second half, and I think it was Romans that last-ditch tackle. So it's not been as if like they've just had one opportunity, Livingston. Robbie Muirhead's first one probably quite comfortable for Jack Butland down his throat. But when the ball has turned over, they've had some nice interchanges in the middle of the pitch, albeit with the midfield three. And yes, attacking way obviously less numbers than what Rangers are, but I have to say, Marvin, the players, you could hear the home fans at the half-time when the referee blew the whistle there. They've certainly been value for the 1-0 lead.
Well, they've certainly had their moments at the top end of the pitch, Livingston. They have had to defend heroically at times, but they lead by 1-0. In the SWPL this afternoon, Aberdeen 0, Hibernian 3. Hibernian currently in 5th place. This, of course, the final round of fixtures before the split. There's just one place left in the top 6. Montrose are 1 point clear of Partick Thistle. The two will be in action this afternoon. Partick Thistle playing Hamilton. Sadly for Montrose, they are taking on Rangers, so you would have to fancy that Partick Thistle have the advantage there. So those games taking place: Motherwell against Glasgow City, and at 4:10 live in BBC Alapa, Celtic against Hearts. Glasgow City, of course, in that game against Motherwell, and as things stand, they have the advantage at the top of the table. 3 points clear of Hearts, 5 points clear of both Rangers and Celtic, with Hibernian possibly too far back, albeit there are a lot of head-to-heads when the split fixtures come round. Keep an eye on those matches in the English Premier League. Crystal Palace 1, Wolves 0. That's deep into stoppage time. Gisan with the only goal so far for the home side. Liverpool have just scored deep into stoppage time. Alexis McAllister had a goal disallowed in the 90th minute. He scored in the 7th minute of stoppage time, so it's Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1. Also deep into stoppage time, Sunderland 1, Fulham 3. The 4:30 kickoff is Tottenham Hotspur against Arsenal. Right, let's get to events at Celtic Park. Pat Bonner, we talked about the difficulties Celtic might face if they went behind. Well, they did go behind, and they went behind to an excellently worked goal from the visitors Hibernian, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a brilliant goal. Beautiful goal. The cross was magnificent from Cadden, and there was, Paslak coming in on the blind side. Tonekti trying to deal with him, couldn't, and he got his header in from that far post area. But the cross that really made it fantastic cross. But that wasn't the only chance. The second chance was a huge chance. That there was a beautiful ball, inch perfect, a ball flighted over the head of Scales for Martin Boyle, who just got on his shoulder. And I thought Schmeichel did well on this occasion, Richard. He's been getting a bit of stick, obviously, recently, but he came out, spread himself, kept himself strong, big, and forced Martin Boyle maybe to take another touch, and the chance was gone. But if that had to go on, as Michael said in commentary, that could have changed this game completely. Celtic, I think the fans would have reacted very hostile. They kept at it, Celtic. They got their goal, and that to me was a very, very important goal. I did say beforehand that they needed to have a bit more penetration through the middle from midfielders and so on, and that man Negrin again getting in and almost about 4 yards out just to knock the ball home, which was and that's him. That's been his season all year. He's been working, making those runs. I don't think he's a brilliant player out in the middle of the pitch at times. He gets frustrated at times, but he makes the runs, and that's how he gets his goals. Great, probably example for any young player also.
18 goals for the season for Celtic, for Benjamin Negrin, and my goodness, they needed that, didn't they, just before the interval?
Yeah, it was incredible. Right on half time, and Hibs will be going in thinking, wow, how do we lose that goal? Because they were doing well and they were playing really well. They're working the ball through a third of the pitch, a threat up front with Martin Boyle's pace. Celtic lots of possession at times, but a bit predictable going wide, and it's like a competition between the full or wing backs and the wide guys, and that's where the goal came from, obviously, with 2 or 3 good crosses from that wide area, a couple of headers that went off target, but the critical one was at that last goal, and it just sets them up now, to be honest. They'll hear probably the result from Livingston, and they know
the result. It's just a scoreline.
Sorry, not the result, excuse me, but the scoreline. But that'll give them again more confidence to go out and try and get the second goal. But Hibs is a real threat, I've got to say. Played really well, I thought.
I know Michael was off headphones just for a moment or two. Are you back with us, Michael?
Indeed, yep.
You are indeed. Good. Right, how do you see the second half panning out? Hibernian, do they just crack on doing much as they have been doing?
Yeah, I would imagine it'll be very similar to what you've seen in the first half in regards to Celtic dominating the ball, but Hibs looking threatening. It's Packy and I were just talking there as half-time whistle was blown, and it was a good game, entertaining game. And you've got Hibs who the game plan's clear. They're difficult, obviously trying to make themselves difficult to break down. But when they do win the ball, they're springing quickly, and they've got that threat on the counter-attack, and they do it pretty well. It just feels like there are teams more capable now of actually making a fist of things when they come to the likes of Celtic Park, where trying to, obviously, you've got to always make yourself difficult to beat, but they're not just camped in with no ability or no prospect of getting up the park, and that dynamic's not going to change in the second half. It's going to be the same, that Celtic will have a lot of the ball. It's up to them to try and break Hibs down, and for Hibs, I think they've just got to be a little bit more clinical. There was a couple of opportunities that, if they'd been a little bit smarter or a little bit more accurate with things, they could have perhaps obviously had another attempt on goal. They did have a few. They had a few there. You think about the one where ball clipped over the top for Martin Boyle. Packy spoke about it during the game. Schmeichel does well. He stands up. He pushes Boyle a little bit wider than he really would have ideally wanted to go. But yes, it's an evenly balanced game here in the second half now.
Players starting to re-emerge at the two stadiums. Half times, of course. Celtic 1, Hibernian 1, Livingston 1, Rangers 0. We've got commentary from Armand Vale available on BBC Radio Scotland 810 medium wave. Get it on Radio Scotland Extra on BBC Sounds. That's Livingston against Rangers with Al Lamont and Kevin Thompson. On BBC Radio Scotland FM, on Radio Scotland Digital on BBC Sounds. Of course, both games online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Celtic against Hibernian with Michael Stewart, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
Scottish football lives here.
This is Sports Sound.
That is a beautiful finish!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome back to listeners who join us on BBC Radio Scotland FM and on Sounds, indeed at the website. Celtic Park, the second half will be a couple of minutes away. They're slightly ahead of us at Amon Vale, where Rangers trail Livingston here. That Benjamin Nygren goal squared the game just before the half-time interval. Martin O'Neill unbeaten in his 14 domestic matches, a Celtic boss this season. And they're unbeaten in their 6 league games since losing here to Rangers. Won 5, drawn 1. Those only 2 points dropped in O'Neill's league games at Tynecastle, and that 2 each draw in the capital. But overall they've dropped points in 9 of their 26 league games so far, which is why they are fighting big time to try and regain a title that they've won in 13 of the last 14 seasons. That goal from Nygren means the as it stands table has them 5 points behind Hearts, level on points with Rangers, but behind their neighbours in goal difference. As Hibernian look to try and get that first victory here in almost 16 years in this second half. They've only won 3 of the last 14 away games across all competition. Those wins coming at Aberdeen, St Mirren and Kilmarnock, and of course in amongst all that was the deflating Scottish Cup exit to Dunfermline. And when you see how the Scottish Cup is opening up, it's a real source of frustration for David Gray, approaching the 10th anniversary of their victory over Rangers thanks to their current manager's late header. He was unable a decade on to win it as manager, having done so as captain. There was enough in that first half performance to suggest that Hibs have more than a fighter's chance of taking something from this game, as they look to try and dust themselves down from that Nygren equaliser just before the break. Just 1 win in the last 7 away games. Talking about their recent away record, that was the game at Killie at the start of January. They've lost each of their last 3 road trips. That Scottish Cup tie at East End Park, and at Falkirk, and at Hearts, albeit those 2 latter defeats were very different losses. The one at Falkirk was embarrassing for them. The one in the derby could have gone either way. Looked like it was heading for a goalless draw. Not for that late Magnuson winner. Another game that Hearts have squeezed through, and they've done it to Hibs twice at home this season. Celtic are going to kick off, both sets of players back out. It's now teeming rain here in Glasgow as the Celtic goal scorer Nygren rolls it back to McGregor, who turns it out to Araujo. No change for either team for the start of the second half, so Schmeichel in goal for Celtic, Araujo, Trusty, Scales, Tierney, Nygren, McGregor, Oxlade, Chamberlain, Yang, Tinekti, Chvanchara. For Hibs, Salinger in goal, O'Hara, Bushiri and Iredale, Paslak, Chaiwa, Barlasser, Cadden, Nicky Cadden that is, with McGrath behind Boyle and Elding, who's kind of playing wide right really for the majority of that. Celtic come forward, Oxlade, Chamberlain looking for Chvanchara as they go from right to left in the rain here in the green and white hoops. Hibs in their canary yellow shirts go left to right towards the Lisbon Lions stand. Celtic in possession with McGregor midway inside the Hibs half. Squares it to Tierney, who rolls it out low along the grass out to Tinekti on this left hand side. Drops the shoulder, comes in field, goes back onto his left side. Low ball across is decent, and the touch from Chvanchara with his back to goal takes it behind for the, well, it is a corner from off the defender last. Celtic corner over there on the Celtic right. Pat Bonner.
Yeah, good play from Tinekti that time. He's obviously come on to his favourite foot, his right foot, and you look as if is he going to take a shot on here, but then he checks back onto his left, and he had up against 2 players. He was able to get a little cut back. Vinchara just again using his strength. Ball comes off the defender.
As we go along in the second half, we'll keep you up to date with events at Livingston. The bottom side lead Rangers 1-0. Tierney's corner comes into the box from the right. It's headed away. Bouncing ball. Boyle gets onto it and nods it forward, but it comes to Yang, who goes back to Araujo inside his own half. Loads of time to take control of the situation, and he pings it long with the right foot. It comes off the head of Paslak, kept in play well by Chaiwa on this near side, with Paslak again out to Chaiwa on the touchline. Low ball forward to Boyle, trying to hold off Scales. It bobbles away from Chaiwa. Now it's with Oxlade Chamberlain left in the centre circle. Lovely ball, reverses it to Nygren near to the box, shoots, and Salinger saves. And it comes out to this near side, and Hibs clear, and it is a Celtic throw-in. Wonderful disguised ball by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain to set that up.
Yeah, showing his class, wasn't he? You know, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a player who's got ability in the middle of the pitch to see something different. And it was a nice little disguised pass into Negrin, who took the shot on.
Here comes Celtic again at the right angle of the box with Yang. Short ball to McGregor. Square to Tierney. Left foot along the deck again, out to the left. Here goes Tinekti once more. Attacking Paslak, going to the byline. Across it comes with the left foot, blocked and behind for another Celtic corner, this time on the Celtic left as they attack the goal to the left.
But, I mean, for me, you just got to keep giving the ball to Tinekti. I mean, that's twice now in the start of the second half. He's got the better of the full-back. I said it a number of, the wing-back. I said it a number of times in that first half. I feel like he's over-committing. He's shown too much space. And Tinekti, he's cut inside once, chopped it back. That time he's just hit the byline straight away. And both times the ball's getting played into real dangerous areas.
In comes the corner, bounces towards the near post. Trusty gets a flick, but can only put it behind for a goal kick. So it stays one apiece here in the opening few minutes of the second half. They're a couple of minutes ahead of us at Amon Vale, where it remains Livingston 1, Rangers 0. Rangers have taken Skov Olsen off and replaced him with Bojan Miovski for the start of the second half there. Danny Rule's men behind against a team that's only won a single league game all season. This is a ball forward by Paslak, cut out in the midfield. It breaks Oxlade-Chamberlain, who calmly rolls it back to Schmeichel. Conditions have taken a turn for the worst here at Celtic Park.
Players don't mind that, a little bit of drizzle. I don't think it's too heavy a rain, is it? It's a nice Scottish day.
It's Trusty, rolls it out to Araujo. Onto the touchline for Yang Yun-Jun, takes it in field and stabs it forward to Oxlade-Chamberlain and gives it away, and the ball's played back to Sal. I'm not sure he appreciated that ball. Indeed, Nicky Cadden apologises, but he dealt with it as well as he could. The Scales fouls McGrath on the halfway line. It's a free kick which McGrath's taking quickly, though the ref's not ready, as Eldon trying to get into it, and then he and Schmeichel just about collided.
That's almost a beautiful ball. Obviously it wouldn't have mattered because the ref was pulling it back, but it was a bit of a sort of collapsing of a house of cards there when it was ball up to, I think it was McGrath that tried to control it.
It's Rocky Bushiri picking up for Hibs, rolls it to the left for Iredale, and down the left-hand touchline for Cadden, forward to Elding, and then back it comes to Iredale. It goes back to Salinger. One apiece at Celtic Park. It's Paslak in field to Chaiwai's giving it away, and Celtic have it with Scales. He finds McGregor, who moves it left to right of the centre circle for Julian Araujo.
It was set up all right though, you know, into the midfield to play that ball in behind. He didn't get the connection that he was looking for, and in the end it dropped short and the centre half's able to step onto it.
Celtic have it to Tinekti, driving in from the left-hand side. Finds Araujo, out to the far side for Yang. Gets it back from Negrin at the right angle of the box. His low ball comes all the way through to Salinger and stays Celtic 1, Hibs 1. But it's yet another game where Celtic have been behind in and having to scrap and scratch their way out of.
Yeah, I go back to that pass a couple of minutes ago from Oxlade-Chamberlain. I don't see enough of those type of passes. You know, it's an easy square pass. Even McGregor at times doesn't hit that ball, that little picking somebody in between the lines where they can open up and turn and go and create.
Tinekti to the edge of the box for Oxlade-Chamberlain, plays it back to Tierney. Now it's square to Araujo, who finds Negrin, right central position now, being forced back by both McGrath and Iredale. Out to McGregor over on that far side. Side football to Chvanchara, back to McGregor. And hear the groans from the Celtic supporters with all these balls they perceive to be negative.
Well, it was more the groans that the ball was into Chvanchara there, and he probably had space to turn, Liam.
Here comes Tinekti into the box, to the byline, across it comes, it's cleared. Important clearance as well.
If Paslak doesn't sort that out, or somebody go and help him out, that's going to lead to a Celtic goal.
Yeah, Tinekti's come alive, hasn't he? So Araujo on the right this time, though. Negrin, low ball across, it'll be cleared by Chaiwa. Well, Celtic, if Hibs pin back, you can understand the mentality from Hibernian, having conceded that goal so late in the first half. Trying to regroup here. As Nicky Cadden picks up on the far side under real pressure. It's still in play as he tries against the odds to get away from 3 Celtic players. Araujo wins it back for the hosts as that goes out of play for a throw-in. Let's go back to Ammanvale in just a moment. Here comes Celtic. It's Tvanchara as Touch takes it behind for the goal kick. There has been another goal in West Lothian. Brian McLaughlin.
It's the second goal for Livingston, and it's Lewis Smith on target just 9 minutes into the second half. It was a free kick played into the box, knocked back out. Danso could have shot himself, decided to play in Smith. A left foot drive low beyond Jack Butland. Livingston 2, Rangers 0.
I mean, that is absolutely stunning. Celtic, you hear this reaction from the Celtic supporters here to the news of that. Is that out in the box? It's the Hibs player brings his man down. It's a yellow card. It's just outside. According to Matthew McDermott, it was Nicky Cadden who slid in on Yang, and it will be a free kick to Celtic about level with the 6-yard line.
Yeah, just outside, but again, that's the commitment you want. You want to go at players, commit players to either run with you or make a tackle. That time the tackle came in too late and the foul was given just about a yard outside the box. But the crowd's got going now. Obviously the result from Livingston has G'd that up rather than the performance from their own team.
That was a wee heart in the mouth moment there for Nicky Cadden, because I think you could tell from here it was just outside the box, but it was close enough to just be a wee bit of a nervous moment.
There will be a Celtic free kick only, but it's still in a very dangerous position, and Benjamin Nygren is over. It's actually a bit level with the penalty spot by the time he takes this. It's about a foot away from the right of the box. He's driven for goal, and it's wide. Corner though, off the defender. Celtic pushing to go in front here. 9 minutes into the second half, it remains 1-1.
Yeah, I thought that was in actually. It was driven into that near post, and obviously the defender just got a flick. It could easily went into the back of the net.
McGregor at the edge of the box, gets his cross in, takes a deflection off a Hibs head, breaks to Tinekti, left-hand side of the area. Faced by McGrath and Chaiwa. Back it comes to Oxlade-Chamberlain. It's a lovely ball in. It's half away by Hibs, and they're claiming it's going for a Celtic hand, but it's another Celtic corner instead. And as Matthew McDermott takes the abuse from the Hibs players.
No abuse, Liam. No abuse.
Relatively speaking, the Celtic take a short corner on the far side, and it's back to McGregor. Square ball. He couldn't quite pick out Tinekti. Bashiri slides in, breaks to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now out to Tinekti. Up against Chaiwa and McGrath. Tinekti back, it comes to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now it's with Nygren. Nygren goes for goal. A little knuckleball effort with the left foot, wide of the right-hand post by about a yard or so. It stays Celtic 1, Hibs 1, but clearly the Celtic supporters driven on by that second Livingston goal against Rangers. And in a season of twists and turns, Michael, that's a twist and a turn we were not expecting.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. But you can hear the volume and the energy has been cranked up at Parkhead due to that. It's just an incredibly entertaining and interesting season.
It's quite astonishing. It's music to the ears of Derek McInnes, of course, because right now Rangers 2-0 down in a hole at Livingston. Celtic still not winning this one.
And Jens Bertilescu, the last 2 or 3 weeks, I'm now of the view you cannot discount Motherwell.
Well, they win their game in hand, which is against Dundee, potentially to within 7 points of Hearts. And this is slip from Salinger. He gets away with it, manages to flick it away before Tvanchara can take advantage.
That was a big slip too.
Hibs have it. McGrath out to Boyle, comes off scales and out to play for a throw-in. I just feel that the ante's been upped here.
But you can see David Gray's telling his Hibs team to calm down as well, because there is a sense of Celtic are trying to get the energy and the tempo right up, and not that Hibs are wanting to play flat, but they need to just be a little bit collected and composed in amongst the maelstrom that is clearly enveloping here.
Yeah, and it's going to be a long second half for Hibs, because as we've seen recently, Celtic go right to the end as Boyle picks up. It could of course be a lot easier for Hibs if they can find a goal themselves, and they're up the pitch really for the first time in the second half, with Paslak going to get round Tierney, who stands his ground and whips it away from the Hibs right wing back and out for a throw into the visitors on this near side, a bit level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box. 3 minutes shy of the hour here. Celtic 1, Hibs 1 in the Glasgow rain. Warren O'Hara over the throw. I'm told to move back a yard or two by referee McDermott as he waits to take this and perhaps bowl it directly into the Celtic box. Warren O'Hara with it then in towards the 6-yard line, looking for Bushiri. It's headed away by Scales, and then Tenecti's clearance to the edge of his box was a dodgy one. It's broken to McGrath, fires it back across, blocked by McGregor, breaks to Elding.
Should have had a shot there.
Yeah, he should have.
That was an opening for Hibs. It's Chaiwa, and they might get another here. Chance for Elding to cross, it's poor, and that's going to sail behind for a goal kick on the other side of the goal frame. Stays Celtic 1, Hibs 1, but it's a little reminder there for Celtic that Hibernian are a danger. Celtic come forward down the right, given away. Trusty Nygren contrived to lose it. There's activity in the Celtic bench. There's going to be changes coming for the home team shortly as O'Hara picks up on the near side and rolls it out to Paslak on the right, midway inside his own half. His ball was intended for Chaiwa, but it's broken off a Celtic player to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who finds McGregor. It's the edge of the centre circle, rolls it with the left foot out to Tierney, wide on the left in the Hibs half. Long ball forward for Chavanchara as it comes to Nygren, and there is the changes, and Dyson Maida is going to come on for Chavanchara, and the other change is going to see Hatate come on for Oxlade-Chamberlain. Packy.
Yeah, and of course I think Maeda is going to play through the middle. It just tells you something maybe about the other option on the bench, Junior Adamu, that he doesn't go with him, but he goes with pace up front with Maeda. Listen, we'll see how he gets on.
Yeah.
He's up against three central defenders, but certainly with the pace of the game now, he could be slipped in.
Changes for Hibs coming. Shuto and Scarlett are coming on. It looks like Elding will be coming off, and Boyle is the other. News from Ammanvale. Remember, Rangers trailing Livingston by 2-0. Brian McLaughlin's got an update for us.
Yeah, still Livingston 2, Rangers 0. However, the home side will have to play the final half hour with just 10 men. Christian Montano shown a straight red card after pulling down James Tavernier just outside the box. Took a little bit of time to draw the lines to see if he was offside. However, the red card stands. Livingston down to 10, but they have a 2-goal advantage with 30 minutes left to play.
Well, might be the boost Rangers are looking for, but here comes Celtic. Yang looking for the pace of Maida. Bushiri's there, and he turns it back to his goalkeeper with Maida lurking, and it's away by Salinger. Collected on the right for Araujo. Oh, and it's a misunderstanding again. Yang giving it away. Now it's Chaiwa, long ball looking for Shuto. He's got a couple of goals in his Hibs career already, including against St Mirren last week, as Araujo clears. It's now with Chaiwa just outside the centre circle. And to this near side for O'Hara, who goes back to Bushiri. It's 1-1 at Celtic Park. We've played an hour. Things are set up for quite the 30-odd minutes here, and indeed in West Lothian, where Rangers might have just been thrown a lifeline. It wouldn't be the first time this season Livingston have surrendered a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, and we also know here Celtic will go to the last minute of every game, considering what's happened in the previous
they're
games.
Having to, Pat, right
they
now,
will have to.
They
will have to, but they will do it.
They've found themselves in holes more often than not recently. There's a long ball, looks like two players offside there, indeed, and McGrath was one of them, and the flag goes up, and Celtic have a free kick midway inside their own half. And one apiece. McGregor to Scales. They've been playing in torrential rain, this. Scales comes across the halfway line.
Just a wee drizzle.
Yeah, it's developed into a little bit heavier than a drizzle, I would say, Michael.
Yeah, there's plenty of drizzle on the west coast of Ireland as well, Patrick, isn't there?
Of course.
Here's Yang with a low ball across the 18-yard line. It's cut out, breaks to McGrath for Hibs over on the left, and he shrugs off his man, and there's Araujo and rolls it back to the edge of his box. Just get the little feeling, I think maybe the subs have helped Hibs in the respect that they've kind of weathered the early second half storm from Celtic. Stays 1-1 right now.
Yeah, they definitely needed an injection of energy.
Schmeichel playing it short to McGregor, out to Scales. Now it's Hatate, back to Scales, who finds McGregor. 62 on the clock, 1-1. Trusty with a low ball out to Araujo over on the right side. And he lays it back to Trusty. A bit of momentum And a bit of energy's come out of Celtic just in the last few minutes. It's a long ball by Scales, headed away by Bushiri. Chaiwa controls in the midfield. It's good touch, gets it out to Nicky Cadden, back to Chaiwa. It's over on the far side touchline. Lovely footwork as well. It's brilliant from Miguel Chaiwa. And as he rolls it back to Iredale. What a game he's had.
It really was good, wasn't it, from Chaiwa? I'm not sure why Shuto was late. He should have been taking that in. It was clear it was never going to go to Paslak.
And he's just fouled Tinekti on this near side. It was a big switch by Iredale. Looked like it might work out, but as Michael was saying, Shuto couldn't get onto it. Celtic have a free kick, which Tierney takes quickly, plays it to the left. Touchline for Tinekti, back to Tierney, and back to Scales. How do you read this game now?
I think it can go either way, you know, because Celtic, you would expect them, you know, to go on and win it normally, but I think Hibs are decent, Michael. I think they've done well. They've settled down again after that surge that Celtic had.
I think it's anyone's game, really. Very evenly balanced due to, you know, what we've seen in the first half and in the second half as well. The dynamic of the game is, as you would expect, Celtic dominating, probing, and Hibs looking dangerous. So when they do pick the ball up,
they're picking up a lot of loose balls, Hibs, in the midfield, as that's cleared up to halfway. Shuto with a header back, but it's gone straight to Tierney. It's got a great header from the Croatian, Shuto. And now Tierney with the right foot finds Hatate at close quarters, out to the left for Tinekti. Gets away from Paslak, rolls it to Hatate. I'm not sure if he's going with a shot there or if he's trying to thread it through to his compatriot Maida. Either way, it's come straight into the gloves of Salinger, who flops down at his near post to gather it, and it stays Celtic 1, Hibs 1.
It was definitely a pass for me, and he was a bit unlucky, just got a wee bit too much on it. It was a good idea, really good idea.
Nicky Cadden needs to get in the game 10 yards higher up the park and playing further forward, because every time the ball's going to him now, it feels like his first instinct is to try and go back, and it's just killing any momentum Hibs have got down that left.
Callum McGregor for Celtic, squares it to Scales. And back to McGregor, midway inside Hibs territory, to his right for Araujo, out to the far side it goes for Yang. 3 in green and white hoops, 4 now waiting in the middle. It's a low ball, Nygren pulls it back, chance, scores wide! Oh, but it really should be 2-1 Celtic. A deflection's taken it behind for the corner as Yang let fly. It stays Celtic 1, Hibs 1. 65 just about played.
Beautiful combination of passes down that sort of almost right channel.
Corner, Yang, and now it's Hatate who finds Tinekti, switched out to the right of the box, and Tierney's long ball goes behind harmlessly for the goal kick, and it stays 1 apiece. 25 of the 90 left.
I don't know who it came off of. You were just expecting that to nestle in the corner there. With the strike from Yang as he cut inside.
Well, it's with Salinger, long ball forward into the Celtic half, but it's one in the head there by Scales. Comes back the way it comes. McGregor, they're going to have to stop the play because Chaiwa's on the deck. He might need treatment.
Yeah, it was Scales coming through the ball. It was a good header, but it's just come down. He's landed on Chaiwa, who's played exceptionally well in the game. He's a strong boy. He'll get up. He'll be okay. He's a bit wondered. He's walking away. So, yeah, the referee stopped the game, rightly so.
1-1 here. 2-0, 10-man Livingston against Rangers. Yang can't control on the far side. Bounces off his boot and out for a Hibs throw-in. Right midway inside their own half for the visitors.
I don't know why Tinekti always plays on the left-hand side, though. You know, surely you could switch over to see how you would do on the right-hand side. He's predominantly right-footed. I know he can use his left, but he's predominantly right-footed. Yang was actually doing very well on the left-hand side in Martin O'Neill's first term. You know, and yeah,
most notably in Rotterdam, I would say, against Feyenoord.
Yeah.
Chaiwa picks up in the midfield, stabs it, flicking it with the outside of the right boot to the right of the centre circle for Paslak.
Good ball.
To Chaiwa's got space to drive into. Shot is blocked. Clear by Tierney. He also had the option in Dane Scarlett peeling to the left of the penalty spot there. It's like a play for a Hibs throw-in. Here, but the home fans make of that decision.
I think that was the right call, though. I mean, Paslak was definitely going to challenge for it, but I think it looked to me as if Tinekti was the one that had got there first and had touched it before it went out for the throw-in.
More changes coming for Celtic shortly as we approach the final quarter of the match. At the moment they are dropping 2 points. Rangers are dropping 3. The Hearts supporters begin to believe some more. And it's played to Barlasser in the centre circle.
Good play.
Yeah, out it comes to Paslak on this near side.
You can see David Gray's telling him, you know, Paslak gets that ball and he had nobody down the line in front of him.
Played back there by Shuto to Paslak. Now he's driving forward. There's a bit of frustration from the Celtic fans. Here comes Hibs down the left. Nicky Cadden's cross deflected behind for a corner to Hibs, their first of the second half.
That's a good block, a vital block from Araujo, because as soon as that ball goes out to Nicky Cadden, you're thinking to yourself, danger. Loads of space for the left wing back, Nicky Cadden, but Araujo gets out and makes a really important block.
And Celtic were outnumbered in the box, Michael. It was almost like a 2v2, but not in great position defensively.
I say first corner of the second half for Hibs. This is their first corner all told. Sarachi and Forrest waiting to come on for Celtic. Hibs looking for their lead back here. In comes the corner, and it was aimed there almost to Shuto or Scarlett. Scales gets it half away. Comes out to Nicky Cadden the left, and it comes. Bashiri was in there. Was he on or off? He was off. Flags up. Stays Celtic 1. Hibs 1 with about 21 minutes to play.
Yes, come down now, Michael. It's not a shower anymore or a drizzle.
It's a wee Donegal drizzle now.
Oh my God.
Right, Tenecti and Tierney off. Sarachi and Forrest on. For all their play in the Hibs half and around the box, Celtic have had 2 shots on target in the match, both from Nygren. One went in close range, the other forced the save from Salinger. It's not enough. It's a home game for Celtic and they have to win it. It's not enough for them, is it?
No, the most important thing is getting the points. You know, it doesn't matter how many chances you have. You can make 10 chances and miss them all if you don't put the ball in the back of the net. That's critical. I know on average you would, if you're making chances, you have a chance.
Araujo out to the right there for Forrest. Beyond the midway point of the Hibs half, level with the 18-yard line. Now he's taking it further, but level with the penalty spot, leaves it for Nygren, and now it's with Araujo. Square ball to McGregor. Better from Hibs just in the last 10 minutes.
In the box, no, not out in the right wing.
Play back out to the right-hand side for Julian Araujo. Level with the Hibs penalty spot. Back to McGregor and infield to Hatate. And then to McGregor. Forward it comes. Nygren's pass. He's overhit it. Looking for Sarachi. Hibs pick up. That's not a great touch by Shuto. Hatate wins it back. Leo Hatate moves it to his right for Araujo. Out it comes to Forrest. Forrest level the edge of the D. Low ball in. Nygren back to Hatate. Breaks back to Forrest. Shoots with the right blocked. Still it's alive at the edge of the penalty area here for Yang. Hatate stabs it back. He's given it straight to Dane Scarlett for Hibs, who's going to take it for a run attempt to take a run out this near side, but he's lost it. And it's Hatate. Hatate infield to Nygren. 20 minutes left. 1-1 here. It is Yang back out left to Marcelo Sarachi. And then a short ball to Yang to Sarachi.
Yeah, came in good possession, but overdoing it at times for me, Sally. Just
well, you compare it to some of the Celtic teams in the not too distant past. It's as toothless as they've been in recent years. As the ball bounces off the corner flag, I think they all thought it was going out for the corner there. Eventually it has done, only because Nygren was out there to, one of the Celtic players was out there to turn it off the Hibs defender, and it will be a corner to Celtic on the right. It was Araujo, he was alive to it, and it might be he'll take this. Not quite into the very late stages of the game that they've rescued the last 3 domestic matches in, but the clock is ticking. Araujo takes the corner. There's a delay going on here for one reason or another. We're having a look at something that happened just before this corner was awarded, I think. And there's a possible, I'm not sure if it's a penalty check or there's been a flailing elbow or something in the box, just in the build-up to Araujo waiting to take that corner. Andrews and Campbell are waiting to come on for Hibs. Josh Campbell's got some goals against Celtic recently, including a year ago, and he scored both in a 2-1 win at Easter Road. And it's going to be a corner, and that check. There's a possible red card coming here for violent conduct. And Austin Trusty's the player in question, so Celtic could be about to go down to 10 men here. There is an official on-field review for a possible red card against Austin Trusty, and Celtic could be about to go down to 10 men here. The score is 1-1, and Matthew McDermott's made his way over to the monitor on this near side after the advisement of Grant Irvin, the VAR. Just before this corner, I think, was taken, Trusty has flung out an arm and he's caught a Hibs player, and that is what they're looking at, and Celtic could be in a even bigger hole than they already are in right now. Matthew McDermott's disappeared into the monitor, which is just between the two dugouts in front of the tunnel here. He's had a look at it, he's coming back onto the pitch now. Does he agree with the VAR? It looks like Austin Trusty's going to be ordered off here. It is a straight red card for the American, and Celtic are down to 10 in a match they must win. It is a match that they're drawing, and now they're a man down as well.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have monitors, so the guys haven't been able to see a replay of it, but that is a huge blow for Celtic and a massive boost for Hibernian. You might fancy they can win this now.
Well, what I would say is that he didn't seem to be complaining too much, Liam, as Austin Trusty's gone off there. I'm not quite sure how it still remains a corner, though.
It hadn't been taken. As it comes in now, it's headed behind, and they're claiming the Celtic players for something in the air. Not sure if they spotted a handball. They are going to check this before taking it back underway. The corner was thrashed in by Julian Araujo.
I think they're complaining that Liam Scales' jersey was pulled as he was going to go and attack the ball. That's what he went to ground. He's obviously very animated back in the halfway line now, so the referee stopped it, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Well, the delay continues, Michael.
Scales is clearly, he's very animated when you compare and contrast. Obviously, Austin Trusty, he trooped off and didn't really complain a great deal, whereas now Liam Scales is adamant. I didn't see anything because there was just so many bodies in there.
We can't. You've got to see it on the replay.
Yeah, we don't have
that, unfortunately, guys.
Well, he's checking it now.
Yeah, they've just announced it, and the check is complete. No penalty. No penalty. Game on. 1-1. Hibs a man up. Campbell and Andrews are going to come on.
These are big moments in the game.
Barlasser's coming off, and so's Cadden. Yeah, I mean, this is just when you think this season can't give any more. A red card for Austin Trusty.
It looks like Hibs are going for it, are they?
Well, I think they were going to make these changes before the red card, but making them they are, as Celtic bring off Yang, and they're going to bring on Benjamin Arthur.
It looks like Hibs are going to a back four, perhaps, is it? McGrath's going out high on the left. Iredale maybe going as a left back.
It remains 10-man Livingston 2, Rangers 0 at Amon Vale, incidentally. Coverage of that on BBC Radio Scotland Extra and 810 medium wave and on digital. As Celtic bring Benjamin Arthur on for a debut on loan from Brentford. The centre back was in beside Scales. 14 minutes left. Celtic 1, Hibs 1. But Celtic a man down, Michael.
I mean, this is pivotal stuff in the title race.
Particularly when you consider it's Rangers Celtic next week.
Yes, absolutely. But we've been saying it the last few weeks, when you've got these games on a Sunday off the back of points being accrued on the Saturday, the gap opening up, the pressure just goes bigger and bigger. And I keep mentioning it now, that result and performance from Motherwell last night only goes to apply even more pressure to Rangers and Celtic.
Here come Hibs down the left-hand side. They might smell blood now. The Edinburgh team. Celtic doing some defending over there. It's Araujo, and Hibs win the throw. It's good tenacity by Jamie McGrath. 13 minutes left. Celtic, 10-man Celtic 1, Hibs 1. I've seen loads of red cards recently.
Well, I can't pass comment on this one because I didn't see it, but certainly I've seen plenty others in the last few weeks that are utterly embarrassing.
And it's a throw in to Hibs over on the left-hand side, level with the penalty spot, and it comes. Campbell wins the first header, flicks it forward, the angle of the 6-yard box when it's cleared. Celtic having to defend over on the far side. Challenged by Iredale. Is it penalised? Yes, it is. Free kick to Celtic over on the right. Loads of empty seats now over in the north stand over there. The Celtic fans heading for the hills.
No, I think
this game on a knife edge.
Yeah, some of them have, but some of them pushed back up into the stand. I think.
Yeah, I think they were getting away from the Donegal drizzle.
Maybe. Yeah, perhaps. Schmeichel's going to take this Celtic fans angst all over the shop. Schmeichel will launch this forward with the right foot. They've got to somehow rouse themselves for this Europa League game in Germany on Thursday. How they could be doing without that right now. The trip to Rangers to come a week today.
And then away to Aberdeen. And then away to Ibrox again. You know, there's a lot of big games coming up for Celtic in the next couple of weeks. 6 of
their next 7 are away from home. So you're going to know all about their title credentials by the end of that. There has been another goal at Amon Vale. Remember, last we heard 10-man Livingston leading Rangers 2-0. Brian McLaughlin.
It's now Livingston 2, Rangers 1. Emmanuel Fernandez with the strike. Pressure really on the Livingston defence now. Of course, we're down to 10 men after the red card for Christian Montano. We have around 9 minutes left to play, Liam. It's now Livingston 2, Rangers 1.
Well, as they come back on there. It's Rangers back in that game. Schmeichel has it for Celtic, rolls it to the right for Araujo. It's 1-1 here at Celtic Park. A few minutes behind the game in West Lothian. 79 on the clock here. Picked up by Iredale, rolls it with the left foot out to the left-hand touchline where it's moved infield and then turned back to Bashiri. There's Kai Andrews involved there, and he's looked decent when he's been on. As that goes out to play down this near side off a Celtic boot. It's a Hibs throw in.
I thought that was a Celtic throw in actually, but Hibs are opening the game up and they're passing the ball, keeping control of the game now. What other extra player?
Callum McGregor's reading some kind of note down there as he tries to steer his team through towards 3 points, but Hibs will fancy the least they're going to get. Here's a draw now.
You see, I mean, I'm just looking at Hatate there, catching my eye, and he's somebody Celtic need a lot more out of, especially in moments like this, down to 10 men.
Him and Maida have been shadows of the players they were last season and before.
Incredible how far off it, you know, from the levels that they have produced previously.
Shuto out to this near side. It's fired in from the right by Paslak. We got Hibs goal. Celtic clear.
So they just can't get a hold of the ball now. That's the problem for them.
And Hibs look comfortable on it.
Yeah, they can't get any momentum. Hibs are just keeping control, passing it, shifting it from side to side.
It's out wide left here. McGrath back the way. Left-footed cross comes in from Iredale. Shuto wins the header, but it's well wide. It's off kilter there, and that's a goal kick. And into the final 10 minutes here, Celtic 1, Hibs 1, and Celtic down to 10. But I mean, Trusty wasn't complaining. In that case, he's let his teammates down, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, if it is the case that it is a definite red card, then absolutely. And, you know, as we've just spoken about, big games coming up, Celtic are going to have some serious concerns in that centre of defence.
The Celtic fans complaining Schmeichel was taking too long, and he did take ages, and eventually just gives it back to Hibs. McGregor wins it back there in the midfield of McGrath, and now it's with Maida, who turns it back to Sirachi on this left-hand side. Sirachi comes dancing forward. It's a long ball looking for Araujo wide on the right. Araujo trying to keep it in place, slides to do so, can't get back up quickly enough. Across goes McGrath and puts it out for a Celtic throw-in level with the Hibs penalty spot. It's 1-1. And it's going to have to be the late show for Celtic again here, by the look of things. Has their luck finally run out though? Having salvaged the Scottish Cup tie against Dundee, taking it to extra time with practically the last kick of the ball. Oxlade Chamberlain's late winner against Livingston. Julian Araujo's late winner at Kilmarnock last Sunday. Can they prolong these late goals? Here's Sirachi on the left-hand side, pulls it across. Forrest on the left foot over the bar. And and it stays 1-1.
Oh, he just failed to keep it down. Really good play. Builds it over from the right hand side into scale. Sarachi getting himself in the great position to get the cut back, and there was Forrest just taking it on a second touch and just gets under the ball slightly. The best bit of play from Celtic for a while, I've got to say.
It's the first time there's been any real sort of penetration in the game for a while, isn't it?
There's Josh Campbell picking up for Hibs on the halfway line into the Celtic half. They managed a draw here earlier this season. At Hibs it was a 0-0, which is a rarity in this fixture. Iredale picks up, rolls it down the line for McGrath, and then back to Andrews, who had that loan at Motherwell last season. Bushiri turns it back to his goalkeeper, Salinger. Long ball forward. Ton of late goals. It was a late goal that Danny Galbraith scored here the last time Hibs won at Celtic Park.
Yeah, when you're down to 10 men, it's actually 11 v 9 when you have possession of the ball, because you can use your goalkeeper, you can work the ball, and that's what Hibs has done really, really well in this period since the player was sent off.
And here they come, Hibs down the left-hand side, a chance to cross. They've got a corner here. Oh no, in fact, goal kick's been given. It looked like Iredale was getting the corner, and he's complaining briefly. There's a Celtic goal kick, which Schmeichel takes quickly to his left. 83 and a half played. Forward comes to Forrest from Scales, back to Scales, and then to Sarachi, and back to Schmeichel. Low ball, side foot to the right there for Celtic as they try and manoeuvre away through. And it's going to be collected here by Arthur, who squares it to Scales. Out to this left-hand side for Sarachi. Forward to Forrest, back to Hatate. Hatate then rolls it with the right foot down the left for Sarachi. It's an early ball and it's poor. Straight to Paslak. Paslak just outside the box manages to thread it through, and it's an opportunity here for Shuto to stretch his legs. Rolls it with the left foot out to Josh Campbell on the right, midway inside the Celtic half. Infield it comes to Paslak. Scales is caught. His man Campbell on this near side. A big switch out to the far side. Too much on it, and it was out of play for a throw in over there for Celtic, and it stays one apiece here. I think it's Liam Scales who is going to go into the book here. He has done. He left something on Josh Campbell.
Yeah, he just caught him in the face when he's knocked the ball.
Right, there's been another goal at Livingston. Brian.
It's now Livingston 2, Rangers 2, and it's Mikey Moore who's on target. The ball was swirling around the Livingston box. The ball played in from the right hand side, and I don't think anybody got a head in it, and it's Mikey Moore who's claimed it. And with just 2 minutes left here, Liam, it's now Livingston 2, 10-man Livingston, remember, Rangers 2.
Well, 2-2. Brian says 2 minutes left. There'll be the stoppage time on top of that. There's a foul on Nygren over on the far side, a few yards inside the Celtic half, wide on the right in front of the north stand. Celtic running out of time here, 85 and a half, and Hibs remaining a threat up the other end. It will be a Celtic free kick. McGregor takes short to Araujo and gets it back. Infield to Hatate. These are a huge few minutes in the Scottish Premiership title race, both here and at Ammanvale. No mistake about that. Any points spilled now could be golden ones. And they will be for Hearts if indeed neither Celtic or Rangers can find winners. It's out to play for a throw into Hibs on this near side. A poor ball out of defence by Celtic. Paslak back to O'Hara, back to Bushiri, who goes back to Salinger. Not a great ball out. Come off Maida, who's at close quarters, and it goes out to play for a Hibs throw in over on the far side. Can one of these teams find a winning goal? Hibs trying to close in on Motherwell. They're 8 points behind right now.
Well, Celtic need to get a hold of the ball if they're going to score. Hibs, I think they'll be happy with a point in one respect, but coming out of here with the last was it 20 minutes with 11 players on the pitch, they may have been saying, well, we should have won this game.
Well, Celtic's best period in the match came just after half-time, the 10-15 minutes after the break. Hibs weathered that. So it's the concession of that late first half goal that's going to cost them, unless as they come forward they can find a winner. Pull back to Shuto, takes a touch in the box, back to Chaiwa. Goal! Kai Andrews with an outstanding goal. 20 yards out, he smashes it into the right hand corner of the net, and the Hibs substitute substitute has just surely won the match. Seen at Celtic Park for the first time in almost 16 years for Edinburgh's green and white. An outstanding goal it was, and that could have all kinds of repercussions in Celtic season, and indeed that of Heart of Midlothian and Rangers. It is Celtic 1, Hibernian 2. What a strike!
What a goal! What a goal, by the way, from Hibs. You know, down to 10 men, Hibs have put extra men up the park. They have really put them to the sword there with that goal. They opened the game up really well, down the left-hand side, into the front man, laid off perfectly, and that is a really smart finish from Kai Andrews, you've got to say. It's a dagger right through the heart of Celtic, but boy, that is a top-class goal from Hibs.
Top-class finish, really, really good, laid into his path, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Pace, power, down into the corner. I don't think Schmeichel had any chance with that. No chance.
Especially with the bodies in front of him. You know, they changed their system, Hibs. They've put extra bodies up, trying to go for it, with Celtic going down to 10 men. And it could well be paying off for them big time.
Ah, what a finish from Kai Andrews. Schmeichel didn't even move. He was rooted to the spot. And Hibs have a 2-1 lead. And perhaps Danny Galbraith's going to be removed from the record books. Incidentally, at Ammanvale, they're into the first of 9 minutes of stoppage time.
Oh, my God.
As Hibs pick up in the midfield. It's Campbell. Loses out. Celtic pick up with Forrest, driving forward. It is won back by Hibs. Important challenge by McGrath, and it goes out of play for a throw-in on the far side. It's another incredible twist in this 25-26 season, provided by Kai Andrews and Hibernian here, potentially by Livingston if they can hold out. 2-2 it is there. Livy been down to 10 for most of the second half. Celtic are down to 10, but they are trailing 2-1, and Forrest can't keep it in play on the near side. And a whole amount of pressure is going to be on Celtic's shoulders when they cross Glasgow to face Rangers in the derby next Sunday at Ibrox. My goodness me.
Well, you know, you go back to Trusty sending off. You know, you can't do those things. We haven't seen it. We can't comment on it. But if it's a red card, critical situation in this run, and you know, he's let his fellow players down. If he's definitely, it's a red card, so that's not good.
And Celtic are in all kinds of trouble. Sarachi's long ball forward, can't find Maida. We're into the first of 5 minutes being added on at the end here. Hibs look comfortable. They are leading 2-1. And you can remove Danny Galbraith from the history books in 5 minutes time, replace him with Kai Andrews as the last Hibs player to score a winning goal at Celtic Park. It could be massive for their season, looking to get back into Europe, of course. They can close Motherwell down in 4th, then all the better for them. Well, this is going to be yet another black spot in Celtic's season, and a 13th defeat of the season in all competition. And it will be the 10th time they've dropped points in league games this term. That's why they're in so much trouble. As Hatate finds Forrest, rolls it with the right foot wide left. Sarachi, early ball into the box. Araujo wins the header, but he's down into the ground, and it's a comfortable take for Salinger. And it stays Celtic 1, Hibs 2.
It's a good header, actually. He's come in with power. He's obviously so far out. He's almost just about a yard inside the 18-yard box. And it wasn't in the corner, so the goalkeeper get it across and get a grip of it.
Still 2-2 at Ammanvale. Celtic have it here with Araujo on the right. Infield to Hatate. Hatate dinks it out that right-hand touchline for Nygren. Nygren has it. Looks to get the cross in. He does so. It's Bushiri's header's only half away. Forrest gets something onto it. It's back with McGregor, who rifles it over the bar. And it stays 10-man Celtic 1, Hibernian 2. We played 1.5 at the 5 that were added.
It comes to the right player, doesn't it, Michael, at the edge of the box. Just bounced up a wee bit high for him, but he just knocked it high over the crossbar.
I mean, this is just incredibly nervy stuff for the whole of the league. There's so much riding on these games, going to the wire.
That might be the chance, though, for Celtic there through Callum McGregor. Will they be able to force another one?
It's just like Packy was saying, it probably bounced up just a little bit too high for him. and he was getting put under a fair bit of pressure as well.
Well, Hearts are at home to Aberdeen on Saturday. Aberdeen haven't won at Tynecastle since 2017. Hearts' record at Pittodrie is just as bad in that fixture. It's always the home team that wins that one if there's to be a winner. And Hearts will have the opportunity to move further ahead next Saturday when they play that game ahead of Rangers Celtic on the Sunday. But there is an opportunity here potentially for Hearts to be 9 points clear come next weekend of one of the Glasgow sides.
Yeah, that's a fact, and that's a lot of points when you've got, what, about 8 or 9 games left, is it?
Oh, it's a little bit more than that, but yeah, no, it's
after
getting to
next
that
week?
point. Yeah, after next week. Yeah, after next week. Yeah, we're getting to that stage now. There'll be Celtic will have a game in hand against Aberdeen, of course, but as it stands, it's Hearts 4 points clear of Rangers and 6 clear of Celtic. So Celtic cannot afford to lose that derby. They have to win that game. They had to win this one, and they're going to end up losing it. Hibs free kick just inside the Celtic half, and they are taking their time over it, and understandably so. They are 90 seconds away from a famous victory. And this would be massive for David Gray, Michael.
Huge. It's one of those statement victories like the derby game. There's just been a few of them that the Hibs supporters are, again, you look at the team, you look at the squad, they're capable of more. But you look at the here and the now, it's a huge result for Hibs if they're able to see it through.
They're nearly there. They're about to go into the final minute of the 5 that Matthew McDermott added on. Celtic come forward with Arthur charging up across the halfway line. Do they have one chance left in them? Right now they'd happily salvage a point out of this wreckage. The header from Paslak from the crossfield ball goes out for a Celtic throw-in. Sirachi waiting to take, but Hibs are going to make a change, and that'll just annoy the Celtic fans some more as Rudy Milotnikov prepares to replace McGrath, who's had an excellent afternoon. Jamie McGrath's been an absolute powerhouse for Hibs, and he'll be replaced by Milotnikov for, well, he'll be lucky if he gets a touch of the ball. Celtic have a long throw-in to put into the Hibs box, and that's going to be about that for them. And it could be a defeat when they least needed one of those. Sirachi back to Scales, back to Sirachi on the left, gets the cross in. It's headed half away by Chaiwa, picked up by Scales on the turn. And just about played the 5 minutes. Here's Sirachi now. Maybe a little bit on top because of the sub. It's been played back to Nygren. He's inside the centre circle. Celtic need the ball in the box. Nygren finds Scales. We are beyond the 5 minutes. We're into 6th minute of stoppage time. It's Hatate, big ball out to Araujo. Across it comes off the defender, and it goes behind. Is there time for a corner? Yes, there is. Hibs want time up. Matthew McDermott's given Celtic a corner, and Schmeichel's up for it.
Yeah, he could have taken that down, I thought, just coming in the back post. There's nobody around him. He decides to have a diving header at it, just take a touch and have a strike.
Nygren will take the corner. This is it, last chance saloon for Celtic. Nygren left-footed, bends it into the box, and it comes Bushiri with a commanding header away, and Scarlett tries to rifle it forward, and the final whistle goes, and Hibs have a first win at Celtic Park in nearly 16 years, and that could do untold damage to Celtic's title hopes. It's a fabulous result for Hearts, for sure. And it's their neighbours who've helped themselves to it. A goal in both halves for Hibernian, who led through Paslak, cancelled out by Nygren before the break. Trusty was ordered off before Kai Andrews let fly with a late winner for Hibernian. And it is a stunning victory for David Gray, and a first Scottish top-flight defeat for Martin O'Neill since that infamous day at Fir Park in 2005. It finished here at Celtic Park, 10-man Celtic 1, Hibernian 2. Let's get